Donald Trump returned to the White House, promising something very different from the presidents before him. He promised to move faster, to negotiate harder, to end wars, to restore American strength, and, perhaps most importantly, to make America impossible to ignore. But now, 8 months into 2026, something uncomfortable is happening. The question is no longer whether Trump has power. Of course he does. The question is whether he can still turn that power into the outcomes he promised. Because right now, some of the biggest challenges facing his presidency are refusing to bend. Take Iran. Trump's administration entered the conflict with enormous military and economic leverage. The objective was to force Tehran into submission, eliminate the nuclear threat, and ultimately reopen the Strait of Hormuz. But 6 months later, the conflict has become something far more complicated. The fighting hasn't produced the clean victory Trump promised. Diplomatic efforts have stalled, and the Strait of Hormuz remains at the center of the crisis, putting pressure on global energy markets and American consumers. That creates a brutal political problem for Trump, because every additional week of conflict creates another question. If America's military power is so overwhelming, why isn't the war ending? And this is where the story gets much bigger than Iran. Trump built much of his political identity around being the ultimate deal maker. The man who could walk into a negotiation, apply pressure, threaten consequences, and force the other side to make a deal. But international politics doesn't always work like a real estate negotiation. Countries have their own interests, allies have limits, enemies can absorb enormous economic pain. And sometimes, pressure doesn't produce surrender. It produces resistance. Iran is the clearest example. Trump has now shifted heavily toward economic warfare, with his administration announcing an expanded sanctions campaign designed to target countries and companies that continue doing business with Iran. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent described the operation in extraordinary terms, calling it an economic D-Day. But here's the problem. Sanctions are not magic. They can damage an economy. They can restrict access to money. They can make trade dramatically harder. But they don't automatically create political collapse. And Iran still has something America desperately wants: control over a critical choke point for global energy. That's the Strait of Hormuz. So Trump is applying pressure to Iran while simultaneously dealing with the consequences of that pressure. Oil, gasoline, inflation, shipping, and American voters. This is where foreign policy suddenly becomes domestic politics. According to a Reuters/Ipsos poll conducted this month, Trump's approval rating has fallen to just 33%, with 64% disapproving. That is the lowest approval rating of his current presidency, and the timing could hardly be worse. The 2026 midterm elections are approaching. Trump doesn't need to be personally removed from office to lose political power. His party could lose control of Congress, and that would change the balance of power inside Washington. Suddenly, legislation becomes harder, investigations become more aggressive, appointments become more complicated, and Trump's ability to push his agenda through Congress becomes significantly weaker. That is why the midterms matter so much. They're not simply an election about Democrats versus Republicans. They're becoming a referendum on whether Trump's political machine can maintain control while the consequences of his policies become increasingly visible. And there is another problem: the economy. Trump's political strength has always been closely connected to the idea that he understands business and knows how to create prosperity. But Americans don't experience the economy through GDP charts. They experience it through rent, food, gasoline, mortgage payments, and their bank accounts. If the Iran conflict keeps energy prices elevated, that becomes a political problem, regardless of what the White House says about the strength of the economy. Because voters don't care how powerful America looks on a map if they feel poorer at home. And Trump is now facing another uncomfortable reality. Presidents don't control markets. They can influence them. They can threaten tariffs. They can impose sanctions. They can pressure companies. They can order military operations. But markets react to events far beyond Washington's control. That becomes especially dangerous when a president has built his brand around control. Because the more Trump promises to control, the more visible every failure becomes. And we're seeing this beyond Iran. Ukraine remains unresolved. Gaza remains unresolved. Relations with allies are becoming more complicated. Trade conflicts continue to create uncertainty. And even inside America's financial system, pressure is building. The U.S. national debt has reached roughly $40 trillion, while borrowing costs remain a major concern for policymakers. So Trump is simultaneously fighting on several fronts: foreign policy, energy, trade, inflation, debt, and elections. And this brings us to the most important distinction in this entire story. Is Trump actually losing power? Not yet. That's too simplistic. The United States still possesses extraordinary military, economic, technological, and financial power. Trump still controls the executive branch. His political movement remains enormous, and he still has the ability to dramatically influence America's domestic and foreign policy. But something else may be happening. The limits of presidential power are becoming visible. Trump can threaten Iran, but he cannot force Iran to surrender. He can pressure allies, but he cannot guarantee they will always follow Washington. He can impose tariffs, but he cannot completely control how companies, consumers, and foreign governments respond. He can promise peace, but he cannot force every conflict to end on his timetable. And that may be the real story of 2026. Not that Trump has suddenly become powerless, but that the world is reminding him of something every powerful leader eventually discovers. Power is not the same thing as control. You can have the strongest military on earth and still become trapped in a war. You can control enormous economic resources and still struggle to control inflation. You can dominate Congress politically and still face resistance from markets, allies, foreign governments, and voters. And you can be one of the most powerful presidents in American history, while discovering that some problems simply refuse to obey. So is Trump losing control? Maybe the better question is, was anyone ever truly in control? Because if the Iran war continues, energy prices remain elevated, the economy becomes more painful, and Republicans lose Congress in November. Trump's biggest challenge may not come from his political opponents. It may come from the gap between what he promised Americans he could control and what reality is actually allowing him to control. And that gap could define the rest of his presidency. Subscribe to the Shadow Empires. We explain the systems behind global power.